Hey guys, so I literally just walked in the door and it is 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna get oiled up really quick here before we hop into day 10 of Seasons of Hustle Bootcamp. Can you believe it's been 10 days already? It's going by so quickly. So we are officially a third of the way done with Bootcamp, so that's super exciting. Okay, so last night we talked about enrolling new members and we only got halfway through that section. So tonight is enrolling new members part 2, and we're gonna focus on a few different things tonight. We're gonna focus on how to fill the seats. We're gonna talk about expanding your circle of influence, and we're also gonna talk about overcoming objections and the rule of 3. So some of this content is stuff that I am so excited to share with you guys. So I'm gonna try to keep my excitement down just a little bit because I get really excited about some of these topics. Okay, so we all have planned classes and we do all this work and we get there and nobody shows. Can I get a show of hands? Or can I get some amens if you have had one of those happen? They've happened to the best of us. They've happened to all of us. So I want to give you guys some tips on how to fill the seats. But before I go into that, I want to tell you that there have been instances where I have had no-show classes that I honestly feel like that was meant to be for a purpose. So if I'm working with a host and I get there and nobody shows up for the class itself, use that time wisely. Use that time with that host to dig into what's going on in their life. Help them create their wellness plan. If they have business questions, help answer those business questions. Help ask them, how did you advertise your class? How did you invite folks? And they were like, oh, I just hit the invite button on Facebook. Oh my gosh, so that's why it didn't work. So let me coach you some on some tips and tricks to get people here, and let's reschedule another one. So use that time one-on-one. Just don't be like, okay, nobody showed, I'm leaving, okay? Use that time to build that relationship and to figure out how you can help that person that's hosting. If it's something that you've scheduled for yourself and nobody shows, use that as a power hour. Use that time to do some of your other income producing activities and make the most of it. Okay, so we're gonna dive into how to fill the seats. So personal invitation is the most valuable tool you have to get the butts in the seats, okay? So we all have that button on Facebook where you can go invite. Okay, I tell people to never use this tool because we get so many invitations from Facebook and with the algorithms and things like that. It's not personal. You just think they invited everybody on their Facebook page and you don't really know if they care if you're there or not. So try reaching out to a person and connecting a need that they have. So, hey Sally, I know you mentioned a few weeks back your little one was struggling at bedtime and I'm having class on Saturday. I think you'll have some really valuable information to help your little one. Can I count on you to see you there? Something as simple as that, or can I send you the information? So end it with a question. You'll notice a lot of the verbiage ideas we give you are going to end in a question to get a response. Sending reminders to people is another way to fill the seats. So we all live high-paced, busy lives. Like I literally walked in the door, put my phone up on the stand and hopped on Facebook Live. So even me having this in my calendar and knowing that it's happening, there was not enough hours in the days today, okay? So reminders for people who are busy and have busy schedules is not bugging them. Okay, take that out of your head of, I don't want to bug people, and send them a reminder. People will actually really appreciate that you took the time to remind them, and it shows them that you care and you really want them to be there. Just don't be slimy with it. Just be like, hey, I'm really looking forward to seeing you on Friday night. Don't forget, we start at 6. Something as simple as that. So I think there's a lost art form in invitations. How long has it been since you actually got an invitation in the mail? So I think wedding invites are about the only thing that I see come in the mail anymore. A lot of things are just done on Facebook and things like that. So it would be super special and it would stand out to actually get personal invitations. So if you haven't tried that for a while, try that. So schedule a class that's 3 to 4 weeks out where you actually have time to send invites in the mail and then follow up with those reminders and see what kind of a turnout you have. That's something you can also work with your host. You could say, make your list of people. If you get the addresses together, I'll mail out the invitations for you. So if you can help your people who are hosting classes fill the seats, and show them that, then they are going to carry that through as they're doing it. Okay, another thing that I have done is offer an incentive to bring a friend. So if you bring a friend, you and the friend will both go home with a sample of thieves cleaner. You can literally get the dollar spray bottles from the Dollar Tree and get a cap full of cleaner, stick it in there. Super easy, not that expensive. You could do that times 20 or 30 people if you had that many in a class. That would be amazing. Anybody in any budget can do that. And thieves cleaner is one of those products that people fall in love with, and it's life-changing because it replaces all of the cleaners in your house. So try to come up with some creative ways to have people bring a friend. I've actually told people too, if I have the same 3 or 4 people at a class a couple times in a row, okay, now I'm doing a class next week and it's gonna be a topic that they really wanna come to, and I'm only gonna do it if each one of you bring a friend. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they start, I was like, let's make our list of people. Let's send out some invites. So just keep that in their minds and let people know, like, bring people, like, no strings attached. Like, tell people they don't have to feel like they have to purchase something. We just want them to come and get educated. And so take that pressure off of people as well when you're inviting friends of friends to come, because it's so like any other multi-level marketing company. When you go to nail parties, purse parties, cookware parties, you're expected to purchase something, or I've always felt that way when I attend those. So we have to take that stigma out of coming to a Young Living event, is that you have to, that's why we don't call them parties. That's why I try not to call them parties. I try to call them classes or events or experiences, things like that. Okay, so one of the biggest things that will change attendance at your classes, please do not let me see any of you post a class that says Essential Oils 101 Friday at 6 p.m. Okay, the boring old names do not work. We need to have fun names. There's a whole list of names in Seasons of Hustle that we gave you ideas. Just have fun with it. Like, the title can be crazy and you could do 1 or 2 little things that go with that theme, but you could always teach on the PSK first. So you can give an intro to the PSK or teach things out of the PSK that have a different meaning. So like you could do one, in the summer, that's, your favorite summer treats, and make an English slushie, and just do different things like that. So there's ways that you can incorporate things that are in the starter kit to basically any class that you have. Okay, so last night we talked about scheduling classes from classes. I want you guys to implement this as you're teaching classes from this point on. That keeps a revolving door of classes coming to you. And so you always have things on your calendar that creates momentum, and that gets the ball rolling, and it kind of snowballs. And that snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and your team is just going to grow if you can do that. So don't forget to do that at these classes. When you have those people in those seats, schedule your follow-up classes, even if it's one-on-ones. If somebody can't come to a class, don't just say, that's okay. Say, okay, that time didn't work for you. Would you want me to come and talk to a few of you and your friends and schedule a class with them? Or can I meet you one-on-one for coffee? Which works better for you? So instead of saying, do you want to do this? And like, if you give them the option of, do you want to have your own class, or do you want me to meet you one-on-one? Which works best? Most people are not going to come back to you and say neither. They're going to say, oh, well, I would prefer this one or this one. Or if you left that open-ended question of, do you want to have a class? They're very likely to at some point say no. So do you see the difference in that language and how you would get a different answer from those different ways? So those are my tips on how to fill the seats. Like I said, there's a section in Seasons of Hustle about that as well. Now we're going to talk about expanding our circle of influence. So the first time I heard this statistic, I was like, seriously? So did you know that on average, each person knows about 2,000 people? You're thinking, do I really know that many people? But when you think about your hairdresser and your nail lady and your oil lady and the people you went to school with and your teachers and the people at church and the people that's in your kids' activities and your neighbors, and I mean, the list goes on and on. We do really know about 2,000 people. So all of these people are in what's called your circle of influence because they're people that you know. So I want you to do some math, and I want you to post the answers in the comments after you've had time to look this number up. So I want you to take the number of team members you have. So if you have 52 members, I want you to take those 52 members by 2,000, and I want you to post that number in the comments and say that is your team's circle of influence. So that's going to be a pretty large number. So you're going to be shocked at the reach and circle of influence that your team will have, even at a small size, because it is amazing when you take 10 people times 2,000, that's what, like 20,000 people? So that's insane. Think about all those ways to reach those people, okay? So as a leader, growing your circle of influence is going to continue to grow your business. So what are ways we can expand our circle of influence? So when you feel like you are in an enrollment rut and you need to expand the people, because most of the people you know have already joined Young Living. Okay, I never want to hear the excuse everybody does oils, because until everybody on this planet has a starter kit, that is such a not true statement. Or I do not want to hear people say, there's so many people in my town that do it already. There's just really not room or space for me, okay? There's room for every one of us to be diamonds and above. That is no excuse. That is an excuse and a mindset issue. So if that's your mentality, we need to work on that. So take up a new hobby. So figure out something that you like to do that maybe you haven't done for you in a while, and do that and enjoy that new hobby, make new friends for that. And then eventually some of those relationships may lead to new members for you, or maybe people that you meet through them because of their circle of influence will be new members to you. So this is something that you would think would be common sense, but when you look at the way people act in public, it actually is not. Be friendly to people. So how many of us are, let's pretend that the Seasons of Hustle book here is my phone. Okay, how many of us are standing in line like this? Or we're sitting in a waiting room like this. Okay, what if we didn't do that and we smiled at people when they walked in the door and we were like, hey, how are you? Have a good day. Like, actually we're nice to people and start a conversation just by smiling at somebody and telling them to have a good day or saying hello. You can change somebody's day. Like, sometimes people just need somebody to be nice to them. You never know where that's going to lead. And if you are warm and welcoming to people, they're going to be more likely to talk to you. So another idea that I have for expanding your circle of influence is join something like the Chamber of Commerce, so you can get expanded in the business area. One of the other skills for expanding your circle of influence is to be a good listener. So you've heard me talk about being a good listener through Bootcamp so far. And so this is something where you can really listen, and you actually can use your eyes to visually look for this on social media as well. So if you see needs for people, help fill that need, okay? You will hear tons of stories of people signed up because somebody reached out to them in a time of need and it fulfilled something that they were missing in their life, or they were able to provide something that in that moment they needed. So that's where those flip kits come in handy. I like to have one kit that I can just drop off for a weekend for somebody if, you know, they need that immediate thing and need something for a couple days to really support whatever's going on in their household. And then when you go to pick it up, they're going to say, I really don't want you to take it away. And say, hey, I've got a brand new one here for you. If you want one, here, let's get you signed up. So the fifth tip that I have for you for expanding your circle of influence is to increase your value through education. So you want to make sure that when you are posting on social media, when you are having conversations with people, that you're actually bringing value to them. So if you're a negative Nancy and you're always complaining and nothing's ever good enough, like, that's not going to attract people. That's not going to make people join with you. But if you are a person who is bringing value through education and teaching them things in a way where it's not pushy and salesy, but just where in natural conversation, you're talking about something, be like, oh, hey, I totally learned this the other day. We were just talking about that, and tell them about that, and then change conversation and move on. Those little seed planting things, they're going to know you're the person to come to when they have questions. So those are my tips for expanding your circle of influence. I hope some of those are helpful for you guys. Now we're going to move on to overcoming objections, or as I like to call them, excuses. Okay, we get a lot of excuses in this business through either customers or business builders, but tonight we're going to focus on at classes or enrollments. Okay, so I know each of us have felt uncomfortable at some point when maybe some of these statements have been said. So if you can learn to be comfortable with your statements back to people, then you're going to have a better outcome, and it will go a long way to easing their concerns. So how many of you, okay, let's be truthful here, have heard, the oils are too expensive. Just don't know if I can spend that much money. Okay, anybody heard that one before? I know I've heard that at classes for sure. Okay, so here is some information about that. Number one, this is a mindset issue. This is a poverty mindset of investing $160 into your health and wellness is too expensive. When how much do you pay for prescriptions, for doctor's visits, for eyeglasses, for all these other things that you pay for healthcare, and you don't blink an eye at the cost of it, okay? So first, I want to talk about speaking value into the kit, which we mentioned this a little bit yesterday. But when you are talking about the value kit and you're like, it's only $160, it's a great deal, it's the only thing in the catalog that's always 50% off, I truly believe it is one of the best products in the catalog because of the value of it. Like, if you talk about that and you show them the value, a lot of times that will go a long, long way. So I want you to think about this and maybe go ahead and write some things down as you're thinking about this, so you can actually have a list that you can look at until you memorize it. But think about the money that you have saved since being with Young Living. Okay, so I'm not going to the doctor weekly. Don't buy anything in a big box store that's in the personal care products, the cleaning aisle, the over-the-counter pharmacy section. Like, I basically cannot go to that section in like Walmart or Target unless I need toilet paper, paper towels, or Kleenexes. And if Young Living sold them, I would totally buy them too. But that stuff I can have delivered from Amazon. So now I get to go to Target just for fun. I'm not in there spending all that extra money and $5, $6 to $8 on a cleaner for every different surface in my home when I could spend $22.50 on a cleaner that lasts me 6 or 8 months. So look at that cost savings. Look how much money you're not spending. So make a list of all of the things that you no longer buy. So can you imagine if you had this list and you printed it out, and you could have that at your classes and you laminated it, and it was 2 or 3 columns of things of, this is the stuff I no longer have to buy because of Young Living. Thank you, Young Living. You have saved me so much money. Plus you reward me with free products. How can it get better than that? If people are really concerned about the price, you can talk to them about, well, if you have 2 or 3 friends or 4 friends that want to join with you, you could possibly earn back the part of your starter kit, all of your starter kit, or even more than that. So if the cost really is the issue and they don't have the money up front, help them with that. Help them get their friends to join and help show them how to save money together, because more than likely their friends are going to be along that same path. And so if you can show them how to make some DIYs and how to make their kit last and how to make rollers and things like that, they're going to know that you want them to get the value of what's in the product, and you're not just trying to sell them something that's a one-time thing. So I need to check with my spouse is another one. So sometimes this is an excuse. Sometimes this truly is that they don't make any big purchases. They don't, make anything over a certain amount without talking to it. And I totally respect that. But I would be curious how many of them actually ask their spouse before they take their kid to the doctor. How many of them actually ask their spouse before they go fill a prescription? So it's changing the mindset of it's investing in your health and wellness. It's a different form of you take care of yourself. Be proactive instead of reactive. And so it's saving you money in the long run from all those other things. So be sure that they totally hear you you respect that and understand that, but offer to talk to their spouse. I'd be happy to come and talk to both of you. If you want to meet for coffee, if you want to invite a few friends over, I'd be happy to come to your house, answer all your questions. If they don't want to do that, then say, I totally respect that. Can I call you in a few days and check in with you just to see what your spouse had to say, or if there's any other questions that he would like me to answer or she would like me to answer. So those are some ways that you can totally respect their opinion with that. But a lot of times that statement is more about the cost. It's not necessarily that they really need to talk to their spouse. It's more, I really don't know if I want to spend the money. So that's where you've got to get good with the overcoming objections part and knowing how to make those statements where they can see the value of what they're getting. I don't know if the oils are for me. I might use peppermint, but I'm just not for sure all about the rest of those. Has anybody else heard this one? Okay. So remember, this is new territory for people. Do you remember what it was like before you were an oiler and before you knew all the amazing things that these products did? It's overwhelming, okay? There is a whole catalog full of oils. There's all these books. There's all these things. And how do you know what to use for what? And how do I know what to do? Okay, so first in your classes, you got to be sure that you're just telling people, just get your oils on you at some point every day. You don't have to know all the things. You just need to put them on you and in you. You just need to be using them, okay? Also, talk about taking a new approach to your family's health and wellness. And it may take time to wrap your brain around that, but if you wrap your brain around the proactive versus reactive, then a lot of people sometimes will understand why they may need to have Raven in the house or why they may want Pain Away sitting on the shelf. But you could also, in this case, this is when I tell people, I offer a personal money back guarantee. If you buy your kit and you use it every day for 30 days and you're still not like, okay, I like these products or love these products, I will buy it back from you. No questions asked. I have never had anybody ask me to buy their kit back because that just lets them know you value the product so much that you truly believe that it is going to be something that they do use. So those are some great ways to overcome those objections. Okay, then I get people who are like, well, I don't want to order every month. Okay, that's the best thing about Young Living. You totally don't have to. There's never a monthly fee. There's not yearly membership fees. So that's totally okay. However, if you do find yourself loving the products like many of us have, you can sign up for Essential Rewards, which is our monthly program, and earn up to 25% back plus other freebies. That's the biggest regret I have is I didn't do it sooner. It took me about 2 months to sign up for it. I wish I would have done it up front because now I realize what I left on the table. But that's always an optional program, and that's something that if you try it for a couple months and you want to cancel it, you totally can. You're not getting into something that you can't get out of, because that's people's fear with that statement is they're getting into something that they don't understand all about yet or that they can't get out of. And so the second part of that is people think when they buy a kit, they have to sell oils. So they're like, well, I don't want to sell oils. I don't need a kit. Okay, guess what? You don't have to. 93% of people purchase a kit and they never share their oils. There's 7 to 10% of us that actually do this thing as a business, which I was one in the beginning. The first 6 or 8 months, I was like, I do not want to do a business. And people were asking me about the product. I would share my referral link. My checks were covering my products. I never thought I would build a business out of this either. That opportunity is always there, but you will never be pressured. You will never be asked to do this as a business. But no, if you ever have questions about it, I'm here to talk to you about it. So I actually love the people that say, I don't want to sell oils. Because how many of you on this boot camp, when you bought your starter kit, knew you wanted to do this as a business? Okay, I bet it's a very, very small percentage of people. Because I know when people say this, it is probably not a forever statement. Okay, so I do tell people I would like to at least show you where your referral link is, because your friends and your family at some point are going to want these because they're going to see you using them. So I would like to show you where your referral link is so you at least can refer them if they ask you. And if you totally don't want to do that, that's fine. Would you at least refer them back to me? So that way you are getting the referrals from them, and you can still sponsor them under them because those people should be connected to them. But if they don't want to deal with the enrollment and all of that right now, and just remember, all that stuff is right now, that's totally okay until they're in Young Living for a while. So sometimes it takes people 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 years before they start sharing the product. And then they're like, why didn't I start this sooner? So people want to feel heard. They want to know that you have felt what they're feeling. So feel, felt, found is something we talk about in the book, and you want to make sure that you are letting people know you hear their feelings. Okay, so now let's move on from objections. I think those are pretty much the objections that you get when you are having classes. So that's why I wanted to touch on just those today. I want to talk to you about the rule of 3. Since we're talking about teaching classes, I want to talk about the rule of 3. Some of you may have heard about it, some of you haven't. This is a standard I have set for my business. It is not something I set in the beginning, and I wish I would have implemented sooner. This will help your team be more confident in sharing. It's also going to keep you from building teams for other people and you doing all the work and not training others to do the work, because what we do needs to be duplicatable, and it is not duplicatable for you to teach 20, 30, 40 classes a month, okay? I did that. I've made that mistake. I don't regret anything I did in my business because I've always learned lessons from the things that maybe weren't the smartest choices. So the rule of 3 is I would go teach a class for anyone in my downline. Okay, so first class, I teach for you. Second class, I will teach with you. So if we're doing the PSK, I'll say, okay, you do the introduction. I'll talk about seed to seal. Which 3 oils do you want to share about? I'll share about 3, and then we can kind of see how it goes from there. We can make it, simple. And then the third class, I am going to come and I'm going to sit in the audience and I'm going to support you, but I'm not going to be the one teaching. So I'm there as backup. So that helps them with confidence. That helps them know if they get to a question that they're not for sure how to answer, then you have a sign between the two of you that, they need you to step in. You're there. So that really helps a lot with building confidence with people teaching classes. So that's the rule of 3. After the third class, they're usually ready to fly solo. Every once in a blue moon, they'll say, I'm having another class, and this one I'm going to have, 30 people there, and maybe they've taught a few classes in between. I would really love it if you could come to this one just to support. I will always go and support my downline anytime they ask me to be there, if it's something that fits in my schedule, or if you have somebody that's been terrified of speaking in public and they're finally teaching and they need 1 or 2 pieces of extra support. As long as you're not doing it all for them, if you set your standards of your business now and you train your team, what you're willing to teach, how many classes you're willing to teach for them, with them, supporting them, it's going to take a lot of the, what's the word I'm looking for, where they feel like you need to do it for them. So that's just something I wish I would have done a lot sooner in my business. So I hope you guys like the rule of 3. It's something that a lot of builders use, a lot of diamonds, crowns, royals. So tomorrow we are going to be talking about essential rewards. So if you want to increase essential rewards participation, if you want to get your essential rewards percentage up, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So I will see you guys then.